Right now in this video, we're going to show you the best way to predict the future of Bitcoin. We're also going to show you an altcoin that was on the top loser list, biggest loser list on CMC, and 24 hours later, they were on the top gainer list. And a couple more cool things to show you. Let's go ahead and jump into this, Michael. What do you want to hit first? You want to talk a little bit about?
Look, the S&P 500 is pumping. By the way, I'm going to talk about MetaGold today because it's also pumping today. So I'm going to talk about that a bit more. And then I'm going to show you some very interesting charts like this one right here, which you need to be aware of, okay? I'm going to come back to that. And I'm going to talk about some other things too that are quite good. By the way, we talked about cake, right? We had a pump there. So we'll talk a bit about that. But let's start with this. This is important because it's a head indicator for the future of Bitcoin. If the S&P 500 pumps, right, and that's what's going on, we got a pump here, that's good. Why is that good? Because that lets us know that even though Bitcoin is not pumped yet, guess what? It's coming. I mean, it didn't pump, it going up, but not really. 41.7 is not a pump. If it was already, it should already be here. It will go there. Okay, I don't know it will go and break through that, but I think we're definitely going to go there. That's going to be a 6.78% pump. Because it could be bigger though, but here's what I want you to be aware of, and you can think for yourself what that means to you. I don't want to make any claims about it, but it is a trend change. We're seeing a higher low, higher low. Mm-hmm. And we're seeing also a higher high. So what that indicates is a trend change. Yeah. So that's good. Why is that good? Because Bitcoin always follows the S&P 500. If the S&P 500 does well, the NASDAQ does well. Look at this, above the ribbon, EMA like ribbon, right? So we're if you're above it, very bullish. If you're below it, very bearish. So, you know, look at the top. As soon as it went below, dump, 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 not quite on top yet, dump, dump, right? Now we're on top. Well, that could be a sign, an indicator that Bitcoin is about to pump. So if Bitcoin's going to pump, should you buy Bitcoin? Well, yeah, that would be good, right? Bitcoin's going to pump. MetaGold's going to pump. MetaGold's already pumping. We're actually on the top MetaGold rewards. Not to go there too quickly, but we are a top gainer right now on CoinMarketCap. Okay, with a 56%, and we had a big dump yesterday. Remember, we made a video about it. We're on our way back up because look, one of the things you have to understand is that every coin has a fair value. Well, the fair value, if you look for Bitcoin, like what's the fair value, then you have to think that the fair value is going to be right up here, right? And you're going to get kind of like a magnet pulling up back to the fair value. So it's always the case for every coin. If you look at Bitcoin, this also have a fair value, right? Now, you may not know what the fair value is, so let me show you. But I'll probably need to get rid of a few things here. Oh, right here. Yeah, see, that's the fair value. And right now, Bitcoin is in the fair value zone between this point here and here. So these two are the fair value. If it goes below the fair value, what's going to happen? It's always going to come back to the fair value very quickly, right? In the same way, MetaGold fair value is in this price. So now, okay, we lost a lot, right, on that. What happened with that event with the hackers like MetaMask was just nothing to do with MetaGold, everything to do with that guy who held, 14 billion MetaGold in his wallet and got dumped. But it's nothing to do with us. So Bitcoin will definitely go back to its fair value. So it's like a magnet pulling the price towards fair value. Does that make sense? Okay. Now I'll give you some other examples if you like about the fair value from the past. We'd have to go on a bigger time frame. But if you go on a bigger time frame, whoops, totally screwed that up. And again, there we go. Okay.
While you're doing that, I want to go back just for a second too, because you said something that's pretty profound, and I don't want people to miss it. Because when Michael was talking about the S&P 500 as a lead indicator, so there's lag indicators and lead indicators. Most of the tools that people use in technical analysis are lag indicators. In other words, they're only predictive by having to go back into the past and try to see the patterns, but they're not for sure telling you where they're going.
That's
so
right.
Those are lag indicators. So you can learn from them, of course. That a lot of technical analysis is based on that. But a lead indicator is when something that's out in front of you that you can put more, in a sense, trust in and follow. And that's what he's saying here. The S&P 500 is a lead indicator. So as you watch that, there's a very good chance that Bitcoin follows that, right? So that's really, I'm glad that you said that. It's very important.
So this was the fair value of MetaGold. And you can see that there was a point when it went below the fair value and whammo went back up to the fair value stage. And then it stayed in that trend. Okay. Then had a normal correction, went back in the fair value. So the fair value does change. And it's much easier to pinpoint the fair value of Bitcoin. I agree with that. Of course, somebody could argue, what do you know? How do you know the fair value? Well, the reason I say that MetaGold is not on the fair value is because this is not a normal sell. It's a black swan event, right? You could call it that. So when you have black swan event, like even with Bitcoin, remember back in 2020 with the like COVID, if you go back, right, that was a black swan event back in March 2020, like here. And you can see that it went back to the fair value. So Bitcoin always goes back to its fair value, right? And there you go, right? It's below fair value, and people value it at that price, but it goes back. It always goes back to fair like value at some point. If you're overpriced, it goes back to fair like value, right? So every coin has a fair value. That's what I'm trying to say here, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're just tuning in and you didn't see yesterday's video, what happened at MetaGold is an altcoin that we're, big backers in. Well, somebody who was a big investor in MetaGold, their account got hacked. And the whole story is, you can see our video yesterday. Their account got hacked and the hacker just dumped everything. So it crashed the price of the coin. So it wasn't somebody pulling the rug out.
Black swan event. Just a black swan.
Exactly.
Let's call it that. It's nothing to do with fair value of our price. Like, we add value with our coin. There's fundamental value in MetaGold. All right. Exactly. And we can talk about that because one of the things we do with MetaGold is we teach you how to make money with crypto. Right. And we give you like ICOs, which is coming on. Should we tell them about that? Maybe just a little bit, right?
No, not yet. Not yet.
Okay. Well, let's say nothing. But here's what I do want to share with you, though. April is generally a good month for Bitcoin. Okay. So we are going in April, 1 March right now, which is generally not good for Bitcoin. So as we're heading towards April, right? Look at the gains, 352%, 3% not so good, 34%, not big loss, 8%, 27%, 36%, 27%, 35%. So April is generally a good time to invest in Bitcoin. So what am I doing? I'm going to buy more Bitcoin and hold on to it for the month of April and try to sell it at a peak. That doesn't mean, right, that over the next 1 year, Bitcoin's going to go back to the all-time high. No, that's not what we're saying. We're just saying that unless that we get a higher high in the S&P 500, I wouldn't change my narrative that the market is still in risk as the Fed keep increasing the interest rate and the Fed rate, right? The bank rates. So they're doing 25-point basis and they're going to do it 7 times, if I understand correctly. Don't quote me on that, but I believe it's 7 times before the end of 2022. So where does that put us at 1.75 interest rates? A lot of experts, and I don't claim to be an expert on that, but they say 1.75% by the end of 2022 as an interest rate is insufficient. What does insufficient mean to you? It means it will not deal with inflation well enough to decrease it because the government has no choice. They cannot let, I should say the Fed and the government, they have no choice. They can't let inflation go out of control. Otherwise, they're going to be very bad for America, right? So as you know, the US currency is the world currency. So they have a lot of power. They don't want to lose that. So they can't let inflation go up. So now they also don't want to slam the brakes by raising it too quick. But I don't think 1.75% is sufficient enough. So let's see what the story with the Fed's gonna happen. But we all know that at some point, as they increase the interest rate, quarterly reports on companies are less because they're not borrowing money to grow anymore. And also money is going out of the markets and that will affect, right? Just because we're seeing a short-term pump, I'm not convinced that over the long term, nothing changes. Like I'm still bearish in the long term. Okay. So I want to be clear about that. Yeah.
Yeah. But April, good news in April anyways.
Well, that's right.
Historically.
Yeah, because you don't
Exactly.
want to. We don't want to stop trading, especially me, because that's what I do full time. I mean, that's how I make my living.
Mhm.
I make my
Yeah.
living. Actually, I make my living. Listen, it doesn't take me much. I just make one trade and I'm good for the whole month. So actually, I save like 99% of almost everything that I earn, right? Uh, so so I make my living from trading. That would be like silly one. You only you save 99 and you spend 1%. Yeah, I make my living. But no, but on a serious note, like I still want to trade. I still want to make a lot of like money, and I'm sure you want too. So I'm still going to be buying and like selling, but I will be playing the game very carefully, more carefully than usual. Because in good times, I even use BYBIT leverage, like what a 5x leverage, and make money. Like if I make a 10% gain with 5x, you make 50% gain, right? So in good times, I will do that. Right now, I'm not touching that at all. No leverage. Okay. So, and I don't recommend anybody else does that. I know a few YouTubers doing that, but that's dangerous, right? So
Yeah, for sure.
anyway,
And as we always say, this is not financial advice. This channel, you've got to do your own due diligence. We share our thoughts and ideas and what we're doing and what we think. But again, you have to do your own due diligence. But remember what we talked about today. There are lag indicators, which are most of the technical tools, and there are lead indicators, the S&P 500. That's why it's important to understand what's going on there. Secondly, if you're looking for a great deal on an altcoin, then for sure, Metagold, you could potentially pick up a quick double on that from where it is. So we wanted to let you know about that. And then lastly, if you've not already subscribed to the channel, make sure you do. We give you the most reliable technical analysis on the web when it comes to crypto. And we're going to keep doing that every day for you so that it can help you make trades, make a lot of money, and live in a beautiful state.
and go to the description to get your link to trade Metagold right now if you want to get a bargain price. And then we're going to teach you how to make money in crypto. If you buy a certain amount, like $500, you already get access to online courses, and you can see the tier levels that we give you. And we're going to help you make money trading crypto. Because somebody asked, they said, what can I expect Metagold to make by the end of 2022? And you know what I said? I said, don't think of it that way. Think of Metagold as a way where we teach you how to make crypto. And a lot of coins that we will refer you will make 100x. So you buy Metagold so you know which coin to buy, so you can make huge amount of like money, and you hold Metagold for long periods of time, and you get paid for doing that. How do you get paid? You get up to 25% reflections in USDT every day in your bank account, whether you sleep or not work for it. You don't need to do anything for it. You get that based on every buy and every sell, right? You don't need to think about that. You get USDT reflection on every buy and every sell. Plus, if you stake your coin, we have a staking with 32% APY, and I'm giving 3 billion Metagold tomorrow. So if you're going to buy it today and you're going to stake your coin before tomorrow in the next 12 hours, I'm going to basically give you free Metagold. Okay. So it's the biggest drop. What do you call it? Airdrop that we've ever done. Okay. So anyway, I think it's a good deal.
Don't miss it. For sure. Don't miss it. All right. Until tomorrow, we will see you soon.
Bye for now.